All right, so this is a picture of the screen for the app that I did for the reaction time. And I just wanted to make a couple of points and also let you see what the thing looks like running, at least in my interpretation. So the first thing you should note is that I'm using the simulator that we've been using in this semester. Why? Because it already has 4 buttons and 4 lights. So if you want to do your own layout and make your own buttons and lights, that's fine. Actually, this one, I guess, the way it's written, uses only 2 buttons and 3 lights. So you can tell the user how to start the program. It says press button 2 to start. So when I press button 2, I'm going to figure out a random delay before I turn on the blue light. So the blue light is going to come on. I think I now have it at 2 to 5 seconds. The blue light is going to come on 2 to 5 seconds after I push button 2. And my goal is to press button 4 as quickly as possible. And I'll show it to you quickly and I'll show it to you slowly. So when I press this, I'm going to change my message up here to say press button 4 as soon as the blue light turns on. The blue light's on and I'm going to go a little slow. So I'm going to do this and it says you are too drunk to drive. And now it resets. That's the self-test, the power on test that it talked about. The lights came on, the lights went off, and now we're back at the beginning. So I'm going to try to be quicker now. And now I'm good to go. And it does the reset.
Is that a self right there?
Say what?
What was that? Them lights coming on, like what?
So I don't know. I'm a little confused as to whether everybody's got this exactly the same version of this. The original description asked for a self-test, and let me. How am I going to do that? All right. So what this looks when I first start the program is that all these lights come on for a second or two, and then they all go off. I execute that code over again after I push the button. So at this point, after it says I'm too drunk, all the lights come on, then all the lights go off. And that's meant to be kind of like a reset of the thing. That's like in my mind, the least important part of this program. The important part is that it sits here and waits for you to push the button. And then a random time later, it lights the blue light. And then as quickly as possible, you push the button next to the light. And if you push it quickly enough, you get a green light. And if you're too slow, you get a red light. And I added a message up here. You could also put the actual time into this one. Well, you could put the time into the prompt. That's what you could do if you wanted to show it. So that's about it. One of the things that I'll tell you about doing this project and the other project, the buzzing in thing, is that using guizero in general and using the simulator, although you can use a sleep command, it's definitely not recommended. In these cases, you'll get away with it. In other cases, it's going to screw things up. And the guizero tutorial actually talks about that. So there are no sleep commands in this program. There is a counter, and the counter clicks once a second. And based on that counter, I can do what I want to do. Somebody asked me for what imports I used for this, and I can show you that. Nope, not that. Just give me a minute. Let's see, that's this. Okay, so this is the top of my program. I'm doing this import because that's the way the simulator works. I'm getting rand int out of the random library. And what's really cool in this new version of guizero should be, if I hover over random int, it says, well, what it does, it returns a random integer n in the inclusive range of A to B. And it also tells me it's like doing rand range with A and B plus 1. So I can never remember what rand range was good for and how it was different. Turns out that it's just more cumbersome and you might as well use rand int. So that's the kind of helpful information you can get. The time function returns a floating point number. It's actually the number of seconds since the epoch. What in the world does that mean? On most systems, that means January 1st, 1970. And there's a historical reason for that, because that's supposed to be the date that the first versions of Unix got shipped. It's meaningless what the number is. What's meaningful is if you subtract the numbers, you take the time 2 times in your program and then you subtract those numbers. Then you have elapsed time. And that's pretty well documented. So global stuff that I have out there is a counter, something to hold the start. I forgot what that was for, and I have to go back and look. And the actual start time. Part of what makes this program a little big is I included in it this code that I had previously shared with you called turn lights on, which was a more convenient way of turning a single light on or all the lights on or all the lights off. So that's what's going on there. And nothing happens in the console window. Okay, stop the share. All right. So anything else that, whoops.
I had an off-topic question.
All
It's
right.
dealing with one of my assignments.
If it's that off topic, then I'm going to stop the recording so that, I can tell people that the recording just has to do with that project.